While the epic match between Gervonta Davis and Rolando Romero took place in May, it's still being discussed 2 months later. Joe Rogan recently brought it up again on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, and had his 2 cents to give about the UFC match and the 2 boxers' performance. To know details about the match and what Rogan had to say, keep watching. First up, Gervonta Davis and Rolando Romero. It was Gervonta's last fight under Mayweather Promotions, and he went out with a bang. The rivalry between the 2 players was no secret, which is why everyone was looking forward to the match, and we were not disappointed. Romero was brilliant in the first half of the fight, while Davis, who was also nicknamed Tank, was searching for a way out, while Ronaldo planted some great jabs at him. Unfortunately, it didn't help him much. One setback Davis faced was that he hurt his left hand in round 5, which gave his opponent a chance to win against him, but it seems like that didn't hold Davis back because he regained himself in the 6th round. It took only 1 punch to take down Romero, also called Rolly, and Gervonta was victorious. This was Romero's first professional loss, while Davis was able to keep his title of WBA lightweight champion. After an impressive performance, while he does not have any legitimate world titles in the lightweight division yet, it is still being said that he could be the next boxing superstar. He also stands as one of the most lethal boxers in the competition. Up next, Romero states that he wants a rematch. Looks like Romero wasn't too happy with the results of the match and wants to fight with Tank again. A month after the match, he took to social media and stated that he was going to get Gervonta again, and also said that he doesn't know if the shot hurt or not because he didn't feel it. He stated that Davis had caught him with a good shot. "We all say you fall face first into the ropes and then fall to the mat, Romero. It did look like you did feel the punch." But since then, none of the players have mentioned anything about a rematch. Now on to Joe Rogan's comments on Gervonta's performance. While Rogan is known for talking about anything and everything, even without any facts and figures to support his statements sometimes, he gets a pass for UFC matches. Rogan's a trained martial artist and also a regular commentator of the championship, so whether you like him or not is another story, but people do appreciate his opinion on these matches. He recently mentioned Davis's victory again during an episode of his podcast, and he had nothing but praise for the fighter. The podcaster stated that Gervonta is an emerging superstar. He claimed that this guy is a superstar who delivers. He went on to draw a comparison with Romero and said that he is no joke, and winning against him should not be taken lightly. Joe went on to talk about Tank and stated that he was watching Ronaldo earlier and claimed that this is a player to look out for. Rogan has previously commented on the match and stated that it was Davis's fatal punch that had impressed him. Commenting on Romero, he stated that after the punch, he had absolutely no idea what was going on. He was shaken up. As Joe puts it, his whole system just shut off. Finally, Rogan compares Davis's route to Floyd Mayweather Jr. As we mentioned earlier, during the 5th round of the match, it seemed like Davis had hurt his hand. But this isn't the first time something like this was seen in a UFC match. In fact, Rogan pointed out that this situation was very similar to Floyd Mayweather's. Early on in Mayweather's early career, he continuously suffered multiple hand injuries. Sensing the pattern, the boxer adjusted his style accordingly. He became more defensively sound and started to avoid using his injury-prone hands for landing heavy shots. In the same podcast episode, Rogan also commented on Davis's performance in the match and compared it to Floyd's. He also stated that Mayweather figured out how to get people excited for his matches, and that's what Davis should be aiming for. Joe also mentioned that if we go back and watch the Pretty Boy Floyd fights, we'll see that he was beating people up even when he was the pretty boy. According to Rogan, Davis should follow in Floyd's footsteps for a successful career. We're excited to see what the future has for Gervonta's career, and honestly, even though the chances are low, we'd still love to see a rematch between him and Romero. Other related news. First up, Joe Rogan was astounded by Conor McGregor's 5-year journey. On his podcast, Rogan mentioned how he had once gotten in touch with the Irish martial artist Conor McGregor back in 2013. That was the year when Conor made his UFC debut, which has also been called a notorious one. According to Rogan, he had accumulated a net worth of $100 million by 2018. The podcaster then went on to say that he had talked to UFC president Dana White, who had talked about McGregor's fighting tactics. According to White, the Irishman thrived under pressure. To put it in his exact words, he eats the pressure, and the more he experiences it, the better he performs. Rogan went on to talk about McGregor's comeback. Ever since his leg injury, he has not been able to fight in the octagon for more than a year, but does intend on making a comeback soon. Despite his hiatus, he is one of the most popular competitors in the UFC, and other opponents are eagerly waiting for his return so they can challenge him to to a fight. Opponents like Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler have voiced their interest in fighting against Conor. However, Rogan believes that he should not dive right back into challenges, but should practice first. He talked about it on a recent episode of Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson and stated that if the Irishman wants more chances of success, he should fight someone who is a little below the championship level so he can warm up. It is said that the earliest Conor can return is 2023, since it will take time for his fracture to heal. Ariel Helwani, a Canadian journalist, stated that people can expect him to come back in March of 2023. Let's talk about Dana White under fire after UFC San Diego fighter salaries revealed. Fans were shocked to find out about the low salaries of their favorite UFC fighters and have been calling out Dana White ever since. While the issue of the salaries of the UFC fighters has been one that has been talked about for a while now, with Nate Diaz and Jake Paul being some of the players to call White in the first place, now fans have an insight into the real figures, and they are flabbergasted. Revealed by Twitter user @JediGoodman, he disclosed a list of pays of different UFC players. According to this list, Bruno Silva is paid $40,000, Cynthia Calvillo gets $70,000, Jason Witt gets $23,000, Ode Osborne is paid $28,000, and Lukasz Brzeski gets $10,000. And that's not all. This list also revealed that Angela Hill gets $190,000, with them further disclosing that she gets $95 per show and $95 per win. Asamat Murzakanov gets $24,000, and that is $12K per show and $12 for a win. And Gerald Meerschaert is paid $146,000, which is $73 per show and $73 for a win. Other players like Marlon Vera, Yasmin Jauregui, Nate Landwehr, and more were also a part of this list. After finding out about these figures, fans took to Twitter to call out White. They called him a modern-day slave owner and stated that without these players, he wouldn't even have a job. They stated that it's insane how he's a billionaire, yet he pays his players with petty amounts. With others claiming that the pay probably increases as they win a fight, like a promotion, many still believe that none of these explanations can explain the unjust amount of money these players are getting. White has yet to comment on the list, but has constantly denied underpaying his fighters in the past. And finally, Jake Paul admits that there is one UFC star that he would refuse to fight. Paul has certainly surprised a lot of viewers with his great performance, and he is not one to shy away from any kind of challenge from any fighter. At least, that's what we all thought. Recently, he admitted that the one UFC fighter he would not want to compete with is middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. But the reason he doesn't want to fight Adesanya is that they've been friends since they were both a part of the Mike Tyson comeback card and have since then become friends. Talking about him with Sean O'Malley on the Timbo Sugar Show, Paul stated that Adesanya is arguably one of the best strikers, and even went on to call him the top 3 in the history of UFC. He said that even though there are a lot of amazing UFC fighters, Adesanya is the one he's going to avoid. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think about what Rogan had to say about Davis' performance? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.